What's going on today, YouTube? Say we got another NFL episode for you. Today we got the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know how I feel about the Eagles this season. Like, I'm not too sure. I feel like it could go one way or the other. Like, obviously that's what it's gonna go. But if you guys are liking the NFL content, make sure to like button, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment down below on the teams you think I've missed on, what you think I've hit on, stuff like that. What you think about the schedules I've put out so far and the season predictions and stuff like that. Obviously, I've been a little skeptical, or I've made some skeptical choices with some of the records that I've chosen, but it's just what I feel should happen, I guess, or what I want to happen. I'm not sure. But to get into the Eagles, I have them going 10-7, the number 7 seed, so just barely skimming into the playoffs over the Cardinals, Vikings, and Saints, which, those four teams I feel like are pretty comparable to each other. Maybe the Vikings are the odd person out in that, maybe a little bit better than the other three teams, or a more stable roster, I guess you could say. Um, First, I'm going to get into their season, and then we'll get into their record and their schedule. The first thing that I want to talk about is Jalen Hurts. I think that with AJ Brown, out of all the wide receivers that got traded or signed somewhere else, I think he's going to have the biggest impact, even over Devontae or Tyreek Hill. What's another one? Another super big one. Hollywood Brown, I guess you could say. For some reason, I'm blanking on any other giant wide receiver threats going somewhere else. Devontae Parker would be in there, but going into the Patriots system, I don't think he's going to be very helpful to what he's done in his career overall. Oops, my iPad died. Or not died. Anyway, Jalen Hurts, I think, could have a career year with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, and then the offensive line is as. Let me rephrase this. I think Jalen Hurts could have a career year with his receiving options of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, but a concern of mine is the aging offensive line. Uh, Jason Kelsey is getting up there in age. Lane Johnson is getting up there in age. You already got rid of Jason Peters, who was your like cornerstone left tackle for so long, and I was gonna say something about the center that Jason Kelsey scouted for himself to find his own replacement. Can't remember his name right now. You have Jordan Mailata. So I mean, the offensive line can still be really good. I just think with those pieces of Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey getting so old at this point, well, not so old, but getting older at this point towards the back end of their careers, that you can start to see maybe some age deficiency in their game. Going on to the defensive side of the ball, you probably have one of the more good, one of the better, not I don't want to say better like top 10, top 15, anything like that. But one of the better tight end duo, or not tight end, corner duos in the league with Darius Slay, obviously headlining, and then James Bradbury coming over from New York to be the number two. Not really much to talk about in the safety department that I can think of, unless I'm completely spacing somebody. And then you bring in rookie Nakobe Dean, who the reports have said that has done really good in camp. And then obviously you bring in the big man Jordan Davis in the defensive line to play along Fletcher Cox and Derek Barnett, which is super good. I think that's all the things I want to talk about their team. I know I'm forgetting somebody from somewhere. Oh, Miles Sanders. Uh, there was reports that Miles Sanders was getting less first team reps, which doesn't make any sense because Eagles fans and stuff like that have been all over Miles Sanders for the longest time. But when you really look at it, he's not been good. I mean, he had 0 touchdowns last year, I'm pretty sure, on the season as a starting running back. So I guess that could tell you what you need to know about him. Going in to the record, I have him losing to the Lions week 1, and I'm going to change that, actually. Oh, that makes my Lions miss the playoffs. Oh, well, that's what happens. Um, you know what? Screw it. No, I'm putting it back. Lions win week 1. Lions win week 1. I'll stick to the home team. Week 2, I have them beating the Minnesota Vikings. I don't really have a reason for this. I just think the Vikings could have a bad day here, and it could result in a loss to the Eagles. The Eagles could be a very dangerous team with AJ Brown being a brand new receiving option, Devontae Smith already having a second year in the system, and then Jalen Hurts' rushing ability just I feel like with the Vikings could have a bad day, and that could be very bad for the Vikings overall. Week 3, I have them losing to the Commanders. I almost said a different team name that we won't say. Just could the same exact reason why I think the Vikings could lose in week 2. Bad day for the Eagles. Week 4, and I was gonna say week 4 into week 5, but then I realized I have the Eagles losing week 5. So week 4, I have them beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, as I've said in prior videos, which if you haven't seen, go check those out. They're on the channel in the same playlist as this video is gonna be in. I think the Jags will take a step forward, but I don't think it'll be this year, or as big of a step forward as maybe you'd want them to see to win more games like this. A tougher opponent. In week 5, I have them losing to the Arizona Cardinals. At this point, Kyler Murray is still playing good. The Cardinals are still playing good. So the Cardinals are very dangerous early on in the season. Week 6, I have them losing to the Dallas Cowboys. Just rivalry. And the funny thing is like I've said in most of my videos, or most of these videos, I have the 2 better or 3 better teams in the division, and even in the case of the AFC West, I have the home team losing and the away team winning in the splits, which doesn't make sense because normally it's the opposite way. But it doesn't really matter which games go into wins or which games goes into losses. It's more of a record prediction, not a game prediction. That's why I'm not really going into the depth of what could happen in the game. Then week 7 is their bye week coming out. I have them going on a 4-game winning streak against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans, Washington Commanders, and Indianapolis Colts. I think all 4 of those games are very winnable, especially with 3 out of the 4 teams' quarterback situation. And then the 4th team, obviously, that has a stable quarterback situation is the Indianapolis Colts, bringing in Matt Ryan. Washington and Houston Texans, I don't think, are on the same level as Philly. Pittsburgh and Indianapolis's rosters are on the same level with Philly, but with Pittsburgh, it's a quarterback situation. And then Indy, I just think the Eagles' offense can be more explosive than the Colts with how many receiving options Jalen Hurts is going to have over Matt Ryan. And then I have him going on a 2-game losing streak in weeks 12 and 13 to the Green Bay Packers and Tennessee Titans. Obviously, in week 12 to the Green Bay Packers, I don't think I have to explain that one. But in week 13, I think if Derrick Henry is still bulldozing people like he has shown to do in the past, the rushing defense for the Philadelphia Eagles will not be able to keep up. And then that puts a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts and that offense to score not a lot of points, but score points, which could fail. And then I have them going on a 3-game win streak against the Giants, Bears, and Dallas Cowboys. Again, the split with the Cowboys, it could go either way. Like you could put the home team winning both; it doesn't really matter. And then obviously the Bears, Giants are just better than. And then in Week 18, they're better than the Giants. So that's the Philadelphia Eagles going 10-7, the number 7 seed, so making the playoffs, being the last seed, but still making the playoffs nonetheless. I think it could be a really good season. I think there's a lot of games that could go either way. I think they could sweep the Commanders. They could beat the Cardinals here. Honestly, they play well. They could beat the Titans if the Titans don't play well. They could beat the Saints if Jameis is not the guy that people believe he can be this season. So, I mean, that's an extra 1, 2, 3, 4 wins, an extra 4 wins. So 14-3, I guess, would be their ceiling. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think the Eagles are going 14-3 this year. That's why I'm going 10-7. That's gonna do it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like button down below. Make sure to comment what you think I missed on, what you think I hit on, especially in this video. The Eagles, I feel like in the NFC East as a whole, are one of the hardest divisions to rank because all 4 teams are not, there's not a clear one team better than the rest, like the Packers in the NFC North, or the Bucks in the NFC South, or the Bills in the AFC East. I was trying to think of an AFC team that was better than the rest of their division. And then make sure to subscribe to help the channel grow to places it has not grown before. Peace.